Good evening. Happy Thursday, everyone. Happy Money Thursday, everyone. And hello, Evelyn.
Hey, Erica.
And thank you guys for joining us tonight. This is Sacred Bloom. Call her Goddess. I am Erica, aka the Style Alchemist, the Style Goddess, amongst other things. And this is
And I'm Evelyn. I am a interior designer and the founder of Soul Space by Enom, among other things.
okay. This is a free for all tonight. I have been giving everyone in our private Facebook group a lot of 5-day challenges. We do a 5-day challenge every week. And this week's challenge was overcome to become the goddess or goddess essence and whatnot. So and we are on day 4 of the 5-day challenge. So I haven't gotten any feedback yet to see if anyone actually participated, but it's in the private Facebook group, so anyone can go and do the challenge at any time that they feel like. It's a lot of writing and a lot of reflecting, a lot of self reflection and self observing and self assessment towards yourself, reflecting on your past, your present, and where you want to be in your future. What led you to where you're at now? Are you happy where you're at now? What things did you overcome to become the woman and the goddess that you are today? What things have made you the woman and the goddess that you are? And the reason why I say goddess is because I call all women goddesses. And the reason why I call all women goddesses, because especially Black women, we have the DNA code of God, all Black people. You can do your research. You can do your own research. I'm not getting ready to go all off and then break all that down. However, I thought to myself, maybe about 9 years ago, how I didn't like how I was being portrayed as a Black woman and the names that I was given that I didn't ask for. For instance, baby. We're comfortable with that. We're comfortable with chick. We're comfortable with bitch. We're comfortable with all the things that other people told us we were. We're even comfortable with calling ourselves as Black people. That was a thing. I'm Christian. How about I'm just being? I'm being who I am. I'm existing who I am. Allow me to be. We were told as slaves, you're going to be Christians and you're going to read this book. And that's all you should know. And that's all you should be. Then, as time evolved, we were told, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. It's always someone telling us what we are, who we are, and stripping us and robbing us from our identity. So I said, I feel like all women are goddesses. If you're comfortable with being called a bitch, why can't you be comfortable with being called a goddess? Because you can't call me one. You can't call me baby. You can't say sexy. You can't call me auntie. Funny story, sidebar. a guy the other day that called me auntie. Hey, auntie. And I was like, who you talking to? Ain't your auntie? Boy, bye. And then he started laughing, but he proceeded to follow me. And he was like, all right, I'm sorry. What would you like to be called? And I said, Goddess. But he looked kind of perplexed.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't, as Black women, revere ourselves that high.
Set that high expectation. Mm-hmm.
I said to myself, I've been called every name under the sun.
They call you Auntie Goddess?
No, not really. Somebody else called me Auntie Goddess. And then I said, well, why? I was just reflecting back. Why are we so comfortable with being called other things that are not pleasant? Or why do we take, because the way I grew up was the B word was a bad word and it had a bad meaning behind it. So at what level of respect or disrespect did it become comfortable for a woman to accept that? I don't like the word. I never liked it.
Well, I mean, because it's everywhere now. You're so used to hearing it.
It's on television. It's on the news.
Everywhere. Yeah. It's in
sitcoms.
titles. It's in songs. It's everywhere. So we have become conditioned to answer to that, to hear it, to call other people that. So we're numb to it now, you know. And until we set that precedent to change that
the
narrative, then it's just going to continue.
Well, I'm gonna change it for everyone.
Yeah, so
that's the reason why we created Sacred Bloom. Call her Goddess.
Yeah,
because when you bloom, you expand, and a seed doesn't grow unless it's watered. We need to be watered. We need to be adorned with our flowers now. I don't want to wait until my eulogy and somebody has something to say about me, because I can change my narrative right now for me.
Mm-hmm.
And if that makes other people comfortable, you should be. Because bitch made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I'm very much comfortable with being called Goddess. Because I'm not, if a man is catcalling me, I'm not your baby. I'm not your auntie. I'm not your mama. We don't even have a connection. But I'm connected to God. And God is my source. So I am a goddess. That's where I came from. I would not be here unless that was not the story, the real story. Many people don't know that the first woman on earth, the first person on earth was a woman. I guess I gave that away, but the first person on earth was a woman. And as women, especially Black women, people want to be us. They mimic us. They praise us. You feel me?
Yep.
Why not be the goddess that you are? Accept it. It's comfortable for me because once I figured out that I wasn't a bitch, I wasn't nobody, baby. Because to me, where I came from, if you call a woman baby, you must be taking care of her. Like, I'm not your baby. Like, you're too comfortable with that. You're too comfortable with titling me. I don't belong to you. I belong to this earth. I belong to the universe. I don't belong to no man. Even if you're married, you don't belong to a man.
Yeah, we're not property. Exactly.
We're not property. And I'm not someone's what they call it, nickname, like titles. I give my own self a title. I can title. I remember, and I think I told this story before. I was in elementary school when they changed the title where you check off. They had changed it to African American instead of Black. And we were getting ready to take that little standardized test. And my teacher sent me to the office because I said, well, who changed it? And who told me what I should be? Because last time I checked, my name is Erica. I have a mother and a father. And I just could not understand why I had to check off African American, and I'd never been to Africa and I wasn't born there. Now, that's no cap or shade to Africa, because that's where the origin of humans came from, ascended from heaven to earth, the universe, outer space, the cosmos, whichever way you want to name it. We came to this earth as spiritual beings. So I was just confused. Now we're talking about, I'm in the first grade thinking this. I'm thinking way past what's in front of me. I'm getting downloads as a child. And when I questioned that, my teacher got so pissed at me and would say I was a troublemaker and I was disrupting the class. So I was just confused because I was like, are you African American or are you Black? Are you African American or are you Black? I don't understand. I didn't understand.
She's like, Erica, don't call it this box.
Yeah, she wanted me to take the pencil and I refused. I didn't do it.
Good grief.
I was like, I'm Erica. Let me be Erica. I don't identify with that.
Yeah.
But maybe I was disrupting the class. I don't know. Maybe I ruffled some feathers. I don't know.
But that's okay.
Anybody that's anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody that's somebody had to ruffle some feathers to make somebody else.
It's good to ask questions. There's always that disruptor, and it's good to be a disruptor. So nothing wrong with that.
I wear that t-shirt proudly.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was just, when we were preparing for today's episode, I thought about that because we were supposed to do part 2 of Overcome to Become. But I said, let's reflect. Let's reflect on why this show is titled what it's titled. Where was I 10 years ago versus where I'm at now? And way beyond that, like I said, in elementary, I was questioning everything.
Yeah.
When I was forced to go to Sunday school, I questioned everything. Because that's not the visions I'm getting. That's not the download that I'm getting. I'm being told another story. Now, somebody lying. Somebody need to tell me the truth about what's going on here on this earth. So I just want to let everyone know that be comfortable with being called goddess, because you are a goddess. You accepted everything else, even your name.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We accepted checking a box for someone else to tell us who we are, to identify my DNA, my makeup. We let someone else rob us of that, rob us of our truth. Are we not strong enough to say enough is enough? We always say we're strong Black women. Well, why are you laying down for anything? You gotta stand up for something. Now, if you don't consider yourself as a goddess, by all means, you don't have to. I'm just on a higher level of my frequency and what I believe. Yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Oh yeah, we get called princess, queen. How you doing, my queen? I don't answer to that because that's still a humanized title that took the place of baby to make Black women feel like we're being appreciated. It was the pot calling the kettle black. Oh, my queen. But then you sitting up there treating Black women like dogs.
Mm.
Women treat each other like dogs. Men treat each other like, you know what? If our brothers, our gods, see us treating each other bad, how you think they're gonna treat us? Because I hear the conversations. They don't respect us because we're not respecting ourselves. We accepted the bitch word. I'm gonna need y'all to get comfortable with being called goddesses.
Yep.
Period. Plain and simple. We have a goddess. We, as a goddess, we have expanded over and over and over. We have reinvented ourselves. We have came out of the trenches. We have lost. We have loved. We have motivated. We have built empires. We have supported. We've done all the things. We've done everything that everybody asked of us. Everything. Go to college. Get a degree. Oh, no. That's not enough because, see, in order for you to make six figures, now you have to go get another degree. Oh, yeah, and we will reimburse you tuition reimbursement if you get another degree.
Yeah.
So now you got several degrees. You letting everybody dictate who you are, what you do. But think about this. A thought is an idea, right? A thought is an idea. People became millionaires without even going to college.
Exactly. It's all about what's inside of you, how much you put out. You can't, the education system it's a business.
A business.
All of that is a business. And I'm not knocking it because, I got my degree and, so I'm not knocking people that don't have their degrees because like you said, there are millionaires that never got a degree and they just went out there, hustled and grind and they had the smarts. Just because you don't go to school doesn't mean that you're not intelligent.
Yeah. I did the thing because that's what I was taught. That's what I thought I was supposed to do.
Yeah, from an early age.
I went to design school because I think one of my teachers told me, I remember being a little girl and was told Black people don't become designers. You need to do
something. 4 of us in my graduating class. There was 4 of us. 4.
Wow.
Yeah. And then when I was living in Charleston, I just moved back. I was working at 3 firms, and all 3, I was the only one, either the first Black designer or always the only one. That's crazy, right? Yeah.
We've been let me tell you something. Every woman in my family is a creator. Everyone in my family knew how to sew. That was something that was embedded in our DNA as Black people. We made furniture, we made clothes, because your kids couldn't go to school unless they had clothes on. So you made clothes. Like being a tailor and a seamstress and a designer was was up here. That was top tier. Being a teacher, a designer, what they call it, a seamstress or alteration specialist back in the day. You made an appointment to get your clothes made.
Yeah.
Or get your clothes tailored, men tailored. Like I said, I learned how to sew at 5 years old. I learned how to braid hair at 5 years old. Shout out to my auntie. I love her. She's my best friend. But then when I got to school and, career day, they're asking you what you want to be or what you want to do. I say that, and then I get told, oh, Black people don't do that. So what you want me to be, a maid? What do you think I should go to school for then? Because it's not like I'm paying for it. So what you think I should do? Because I'm being told my whole life what I should do and what I should be.
Mm-hmm.
I got stuck in a 20-year career of something that I did not want to do. Listening to other people. Listening to people tell me what I should do. Oh, you're so smart. You should do. No, I should do the things that I'm passionate about. I should do the things that I love.
Mm-hmm.
You're draining me. When you don't pursue your talents and gifts that the heavenly universe and heavenly Father, if you want to call him your heavenly Father, but I still believe God was a woman. You're robbing yourself of your gifts and talents and what your purpose is. You're robbing
other people too. We're all put here for a reason, and we all have our talents. And you're robbing other people the brilliance of your talent. Because that's what it is. Your talent is your brilliance. And you're too afraid to share your gift with the world, because you're afraid of being judged.
Afraid of being seen.
You know how many times I've walked, numerous, dozens, hundreds of times I've gone to events and I was the only fly in a bowl of vanilla ice cream.
You was the only chocolate chip.
I was the only chocolate chip in a bowl of vanilla ice cream, honey. With this kinky hair. But listen, I still went in there, and because I belong there. Never let anybody tell you. Yeah, never let anybody tell you that you don't belong there. Because we're all here for a reason. We all have our brilliance. Yeah.
And why do people think that they can tell us things that we've been already chosen to do and been doing all our lives, what we can and cannot do?
Mm-hmm.
You changed our name. You told us we was this, we was that. I can go into a whole lot of that, but I'm not. And we were comfortable with it. We just said, okay, I got this degree now and I got a job. I'm making figures or more. But you can never reach your full potential working for someone else. You will never be the becoming that you are if you don't do it. How do you become that which you want or desire? And age don't have nothing to do with it.
Yep. Not a thing. It's people that start their first business in their 70s.
Mm-hmm. And successful at it.
Yeah.
Successful. So yeah, I was just reflecting on my mirror. And that's one of the prompts for the challenge today. Reflection. Reflect. When you look in the mirror, are you truly where you want to be? And we're not talking about relationships.
Yeah.
Because I hear a lot of that too, Evelyn.
It's not always about that. Mm-hmm.
A woman's worth is only valued if she's with someone, or if she has a man, or a piece of a man, or
That big toe of a man, huh? Hmm.
better go home to your man. Or they've been conditioned to think, well, same thing I just said. You get under another man to get over another man.
Or that they have to have, you know, kids and all of that to be, you know, that's another too.
Yeah, to be a woman. I saw something on one of the other social media platforms, and it was a big thing going around. If a woman is not married by the time she's 30, nobody's going to want you and you're washed out.
Yeah.
Who going to want y'all?
Yeah, or they say, you know, a woman should have kids by whatever age. I'm like, what if she doesn't want kids?
Just giving.
I don't want kids. What's wrong with that?
What's wrong? Nothing. Nothing.
I'm about to be 44. I don't want kids. I love children. I love children. My boyfriend has children. I love them. I just never wanted to have biological children. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't need to defend myself as to why I don't. Because I don't.
Period.
And
you're still a woman, and you're still a goddess, and you're still all the wonderful things. You're talented. You're all the things.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So it's like
stepmom. I'm good with that role. I love that role.
See, that's okay. I never wanted to be a stepmom.
I'm fine with it.
I only wanted one child, and that was it. But before then, I didn't want any children. I didn't want to be married. I think I wanted to be married until I was, and we're doing reflections. Remember that, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
We're reflecting on our past and where we're at now. I don't want to be married. I think close to my 40s. I wanted to raise my son. I didn't want to be in a situation where I'm forcing someone to be a father to my son that wasn't worthy. Because here's the thing, and I've seen this before. Women get in relationships so that they can have a father figure for their children, but end up being in a crappy relationship. Now, I'm not saying that I never had long-term relationships, because I think when I first moved to Atlanta, my first relationship, it was 8 years. And so my son knew him very well. And we got along very well. We never argued or anything like that. So my son's expectation was that he thought we were going to get married. You know, he thought. So after that, I just never included my son in my personal life after that, because I didn't want him to, it was all to protect him. I didn't want him to be heartbroken. So I kept my personal relationships and my dating life separate, because I was focusing on raising my son, being a sport team mom. I loved that. Like, I loved being a mother. Like, happy birthday to my son, because yesterday was his birthday. He just turned 33. Woo, 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 woo. I don't know how this supposed to go. But I loved being a mother, and I did not want to share him with anyone else. And I didn't want to break my son's heart. And I didn't want some person being in my life here today and gone tomorrow, because you've accepted your boyfriend's children, right?
Yeah, I love them.
At times that I was in relationships and dating, and when am I meet your son? You're not.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to meet my son. You know what I'm saying? My son was gone every summer, so I dated heavily in the summer months. And when school came back in, I was very disciplined in my actions and very intentional about who I am and how I want the lay of the land in my home to be. Now, I ain't gonna say that he ain't give me no challenges because he was a teenager. You know, once he became a teenager, you know, when he was in elementary, he was great. But once he, you know, started getting his own identity and things like that. And yes, he has a father. No, I never wanted to marry his father. So I'm going to answer all the questions that people might want to know. No, I never want to marry his father. No, I didn't. I accepted my role as a single parent. His father was in his life. It's nothing, it's not a negative story. Yeah. And so I think people are so conditioned of single mothers or this story in their head about things going wrong. My son had a very good life. I've always had good jobs. I've always moved wherever I wanted to. I lived in California. I lived in Atlanta. I lived in Memphis. I've lived in Detroit. So, and I've always had that warrior spirit. I got all the goddesses in me, baby. Hathor, Isis, Mayet, Lilith. I got them all in me. Nephthys. I got all the characteristics in me. So I loved my son so much, I did not want to share him with anyone. I didn't. And I'm being transparent. Wasn't no man gonna come in my house and boss my child, because okay, I dated someone that had jealous tendencies towards my son. And that's very uncomfortable. He never really loved my son, but he would say things like, "You always with your son." Or,
jealous of a child?
Yes. And that's why some of the relationships ended. They didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
You always with your son. And I'm like, well, he lives with me. I mean, you know, do we ever see
grown man is jealous of a child, mother's relationship with their child? Huh?
I remember breaking up with someone because he told me he hadn't seen his child in 2 years. And you think you're going to be with me and mine?
Yeah. That's not healthy.
How this going to work out? I don't feel comfortable with that, sir. And I told him that. I was like, I don't think we are going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I thought about, I never wanted to give my son, I never wanted to give a man more love than I gave my son in a different way. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember I knew someone that she told me that her mother told her when her mother got a boyfriend, it was some challenges going on in the household. And she said that her mother told her, she said, "You act like you don't love me and you love him more." And the mother responded and said, "I do.
Wow.
I love you more than I love you. And you need to leave."
That's messed up to take a child that.
Let me tell you something. Wasn't nobody gonna come between me and my son, because that was my responsibility and that was my job. And I felt like it wasn't another man's responsibility to take care of someone else's responsibility. That's just how I'm made. That's just what I believe. And that's how I did it. I did it my way.
Is this a musical?
I did it my way. I did it my way. Okay.
Oh my goodness. But no, I wonder what that did to her when her mother told her that. I mean, I think that is what is a lot of, the culprit with a lot of us women. Situations like that is where a lot of the self-hatred, self-loathing, the low self-esteem, all of that stems from that. Be your mom and your parents and whoever telling you that they prefer an outsider over you. How would that make you feel?
Message.
You can't come to your mom because she's laid up with this man that she prefers over you. So you can't come to her and pour out your issues and talk to her. So who are you going to lay out your heart to? You're going to seek out the wrong company, or you're going to keep it inside. So all of that seeps in, all of that just bubbles up. And that's where a lot of all of this stems from.
And,
that self-loathing.
It led to her becoming a single parent.
Yeah. And so that's what that's what we've been talking about these last few weeks is, just forming these toxic. I'm not saying that's how your friend is, but, because a lot of people can heal from that, but a lot of people don't.
A lot of people don't.
And that's where these toxic friendships come in. They don't heal from that. And then they carry that into relationships.
Exactly. Choosing the wrong mate.
Yeah. Or they become the wrong mate.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then it gets passed down from generation to generation. And, it becomes a generational thing. So
it creates a hostile environment.
Yeah.
It creates resentment, even with your children, because now are you carrying on that same idolatry with your children?
Yeah, because she is idolizing this man. Yeah. I mean,
are you choosing men over your children? Are you a woman that has children and you always have a different boyfriend sleeping in your bed and you have children?
Yeah. And they come and every time they come out to get a box of cereal in the morning, they see, a different guy coming out of the room. Like it's not healthy.
That's not healthy.
And one thing I would never do is I would never ever get in the in between the relationship that my partner has with his kids. I would never do that. And that's what people need to realize, because that relationship is just as important as our relationship. Mm-hmm. So that guy, whoever he was, for him to stand there, I don't know if he was present in the room, and for him to allow that to happen, like, what does that say about him?
And that's what I was going to say. What kind of man are you? Just like when I told you, I broke up with one of my boyfriends because he wasn't active in his child's life.
Yeah, what does that say about you to let?
What?
I mean,
for your child in 2 years.
No.
So you're gonna be with me and we live together and you see my child every day, but you don't come. His mama is this. I said, let me tell you something. You try until you die.
Yeah.
That's your baby.
You created this baby.
So eventually she's gonna say yes. If you keep trying, just keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. Can't no hell or hot water keep me from my child. None. Period.
Yeah.
That's not an excuse to me. Because I said, well, if you get yourself together and you go to the court system, you can get your baby. But see, you don't have yourself together. Mm-hmm. You can't demand something if you don't have something in place. And what kind of woman would I be to ride or die with you? And you have to take your responsibility.
Yeah, the baby ain't seeing his daddy.
I was like, no, we need a contingency plan in place. We need to, you need to make some things happen. And I remember after we broke up and he contacted me and he told me, he said, I'll get the chance to see my son next week. I was like, I'm very happy for you.
Good. Yeah, that's good.
I'm very happy for you. You should. But you and I, brother, that
Nothing
shit
musical.
has finally come.
We through.
That's right. we can't be, but I'm happy for you.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I was the person that told you, hey, get your stuff together. That's the first thing. Because if you're not together, you can't see when kids are young, people think that kids want money. Yes, it takes money to take care of children, but they want your time.
Yeah, because they remember that.
They remember. You said you was coming, and I sat on the porch and you never came. You said you were going to call me and you didn't. But I see you out and about on social media with your woman. Lollygagging.
Yeah.
Flocking.
What'd you say?
Flocking. You flocking. Y'all flocking. Flocking together, you out and about doing the thing. But you don't even return your kid's call.
Yeah.
You know? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Lollygagging. Going on trips. Getting your social media moments in. That's hurtful and painful for a child.
That is painful.
To have a promise that's never kept. And you know what?
They just want to spend time.
It's some things that you cannot replace. Time is one of them.
Yeah, that's valuable.
You can't replace time.
Top dollar for that.
It's not about the money. It's about the commitment.
Yeah.
You know what I always wondered though, Evelyn, and I was talking to my sister and I said, how is it that a woman can give herself to a man and vice versa? The most prized possession on your body. And then you act like you don't know the person anymore. Why are we so comfortable with giving our body away, which is part of our spirit? To you trust this person with your spirit when you sleep with them.
Yeah, you're giving up a piece of yourself. Yeah, your soul.
You can't get that back either. You can't get back time. You can't. Ain't no apology in the world that a person can give you to make you feel better about something they did to you. Especially that part of your body where for women, this is the womb that we create. We create life and we give it away so freely. We're so trusting. I worked in the health industry and I've seen a lot of things, heard about a lot of things, and seen a lot of things. And that always was in the back of my mind. Like, people give themselves so freely. You give your body away freely, but you would see a man on the street starving. You would take the one thing that is valuable and share it with the world. Put yourself out there wide open. Go to great extremes to flock your body around to people that don't respect you or love you. But you won't feed a homeless person. You can replace food. You can't replace your body unless you die and come back in another form. But then again, your body will not, you will not. Ladies and gentlemen, when you leave here, you are not going to come back the same person. You're going to come back something else. Maybe an animal. I don't know, maybe a chair. Hell, I don't know. Because maybe you've been shitting on other people for so long. Thank you. You've been treating people like doormats, and maybe you're gonna come back a doormat. People gonna walk all over you. I'm just saying. Let's respect each other. Let's men treat women like goddesses, and women, if you get a man worthy enough to call God, treat him like a god. Let's change the narrative. It's not that hard, because guess what? Whatever we do, people gonna mimic us. They're gonna follow us. Whatever we do, we set the tone for everything. Beauty, sensuality, exoticness. We're all different. We're all different shades, sizes, and mixture of ethnicities. Did I say that right? I'm always murdering that.
Yeah, sure.
So
you're close.
We are a flavor and rainbow.
Yeah, just beautiful, beautiful mixture.
We're creative. Why can't we set the tone for how people perceive us and what they call us? Because you can't call me on my name. Period. Not in a song, not in a dance, none of that. Because I don't know what, maybe it was an aha moment. I thought about that, and I was like, I was thinking back even on some of the things that I've done in my past, or I would maybe was in a relationship that I didn't know was toxic, but then when I look back on it, I was like, that was toxic AF. I remember a guy telling me, well, I ain't never disrespect you. I've never put my hands on you. I said, yeah, you a silent narcissist, but you a manipulator, which is even worse, because you don't think that people are going to catch on. You don't think you're going to get caught.
Yeah, that's verbal. Psychological.
And you don't have to yell at someone or curse them out or any of that to be an abuser. Usually abusers most of the time are quiet, sneaky and quiet. And then when they get triggered, they blow up. So, I was telling him, I was like, I think we're going to work out, because you have some characteristics that I don't like. And it's not about you yelling or screaming or anything, because I talk loud, and that's because I have a hearing situation going on. So, and sometimes I don't hear myself. So, yeah, you could be quiet and still be a monster.
Yeah.
You ever seen that movie Candy? Her name was Candy or Candace.
That's the name of the movie?
It was on Lifetime, I think. She killed her, she unalived her lover's wife, and she was quiet. That's why
I never saw that.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a Lifetime movie. A Lifetime.
I haven't watched Lifetime in a long time, but I think I seen it on. It might have came on one of those cable networks. I can't remember which one. It was like a mini series.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just was reflecting on how we accept a whole lot of things. We accept what people are going to tell us, how we should dress, how we should look, how we should feel. Like even I told you that people was telling me how I should color my hair.
Mm-hmm.
How dare you?
Yeah.
So you're uncomfortable with it because you want me to fit in and be you. I don't want to be you. I want to be me.
Mm-hmm.
Express yourself. Gotta be you and only you, babe. Express yourself. Let me be. Hey. I'm just being silly. But anyway.
Like we need some bamboo earrings up in here.
No, that's right. And some of them silky stretch pants, leggings, and my pelly jacket.
Some bamboo earrings too.
But yeah, so a lot of times, and that's what makes people not want to be their authentic self because they're afraid. They're afraid that they're afraid of being seen, obviously. But I can give it to, the millennials. They don't care. They like rebels of a different kind. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be them. They're gonna be who they are. They're gonna tell you like it is.
Yeah, that's what I love.
I think it's because our era and our parents' era was raised to be Christians and not be this.
Mm-hmm. Docile.
Mm-hmm.
Meek.
Timid.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we were told, oh no, you can't do that. Ooh, what would sister so-and-so think?
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
You're gonna dormant who you are, all your dreams, your creativity.
Because of what they think. Who cares?
Who cares?
She can't even match her colors. Her outfits don't even match. Girl, get out of here.
Her outfits don't even match. You can't even be your authentic self. Because I remember being a member of a church and someone told me that they thought that I was, younger than what I was. It would have been a compliment, but it was the way that they said it, like, oh, I thought you was so-and-so, or this or that or whatever. But have you ever befriended me? Have you ever talked to me? You just judged me right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
I said, no, I'm like close to being 30, right at the cuff of it. And I said, but what difference do that make? I'm still human. My age, because of my son, they thought that I was like, well, I ain't gonna say everyone. Someone, a couple of people, thought that I was a teenage parent.
Mm-hmm.
But so what if I was? People in church get pregnant all the time.
Yeah.
So the same things y'all do here Same things people do. So I thought the goal was to go to church and get saved.
Yeah, come as you are.
Right.
Why are we judging? Yeah.
So why do I need to be here and be judged?
Mm-hmm.
It's enough of that out in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
I was reading something the other day. I don't know if it was true or not, but they said this pastor, his check bounced. I guess he was paying. He was paying for the P word, and his check bounced.
What?
I said, I know you like.
She didn't have cash in for her. He should have went to. Never mind. Wow. I gotta read this story.
I'll send it to you.
What? See, that's the tomfoolery I'm talking about. That's all you can say is
Sometimes they send that collection plate around. Come on now.
Right. Well, it was probably from a bank account that was private that he don't use or something. Maybe. And maybe he hadn't moved the money over yet. Hmm. Wow.
Whew. Child.
Wow. Interesting.
Very interesting. But the point I was trying to make is, I want to say they, but a lot of people that are, into the church, they're so quick to judge. And I'm not, because I was raised in the church and I still do believe, but they are so quick to judge people, but a lot of times they are also doing sin. So that was the point I was trying to make. The main ones that are judging other people are the main ones that are sinning.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have pastors that are getting their congregation pregnant. So they're turning people away or they're judging people. And you know what I'm saying? So that's why you have to seek out your own truth. You have to find your own, however that looks for you, seek out your own spiritual journey. So whether it's Christianity, whether it's whatever that may look like for you, never depend on just a human to get there.
Right.
Do your own research. So that's the point I was trying to make. But yeah. But when I read that, I was like, how your check bounce?
But why are you doing that anyway? No judgment, but I'm just saying, So do you have any reflections that you would want to reflect on, like where you're at today and your journey?
10 years ago?
Yeah. 10 years ago till now.
10 years ago, I had just graduated design school. And man, I still am hopeful, but I was like super hopeful that I was going to get out there and just, I had a degree and I was just, all these doors are just going to fly open for me. Mm-hmm. So I'm going on interviews and, left and right, going on interviews, not getting a job. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe don't have enough experience because I just graduated and got my degree. So as time goes on, I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? So, I got a job at the VA working as a designer, got transferred up to South Carolina. And then I start seeing, like, I'm just fast forward, a few years, start seeing like, wait a minute, why am I like always the only woman of color in this space? And so I started doing my research and just finding out on my own, like, okay, this is the way it is in design. It's only 3% people of color. Why is it like this? So that's when I started like making sure that I base my work on like not really exposing that, but so that's why I'm applying to, the Harvard fellowship program now to expose all of that. But, it's just in this short period of time, my eyes have been opened from just graduating, being a hopeful, to seeing the world how it is. And that's what you have to do. We all have our gifts, but we all have to always take those rose-colored glasses off too, and do our own research. And also look at our own worth, look at our own value, because I could have just stayed there and just worked under somebody else and just, sat there and been a worker bee the rest of my life. But I decided to get out and start my own firm or start my own business and work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to know your worth. You have to know your value. You have to know, your place in this world. And that's how far I've come in the last 10 years. So
that's your professional journey. What about your spiritual journey? When did that start? Or when did you know that traditional religion or church was not part of your journey, or you switched that part of your journey? When did you get that aha moment to become to become?
When I started going to this, I forget what year it was, probably 2018 through 2019, when I was going to this church consistently in Charleston. And I just started observing. I'm like, why is everybody like dressed alike and looking alike and talking alike? I mean, it was like really weird to me. And so I'm like, this is starting to feel like a cult. It's cliquish, it's cultish. It's just, I don't know. I felt like an outsider looking in. I felt like when I went to church, like I wasn't being fed. And so I started studying on my own and getting into spirituality on my own. And that's when I realized, like, you know what, this is not feeding my spirit. So that's when I stopped going and I started getting into my own spiritual journey and, communicating and connecting with God on my own, meditating, praying on my own. And that's so, like I said, that was around 2018, 2019. And that's when I started on that spiritual journey, because I was like, the traditional church is just, it's not for me. It's not it. It's not it, because it's cliquish. You have people when people start looking and dressing and talking alike, that's idolatry. It is idolatry, because you're idolizing. They were starting to look and dress like the pastor. So you're idolizing this person. Like, why are you going to church? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, why am I going to a church like this when I'm not being edified? I'm not being fed here. So that's when my journey began. And then I was going through, you know, some personal things. And then of course, just going through my divorce, you know, that brought me a lot closer. Going through that dark period of time, that brought me a lot closer. So all of that brought me full circle into just being beaten down from my divorce and building myself back up, knowing my worth. And that's what brought me full circle. Just knowing that, you know, because that's what essentially the word goddess is. God is inside of me. So, yeah. So, right. So that's what I came to realize. Like I mean, I'm a living, breathing embodiment of, like you said, you want to call him a him, a her, whatever you relate, however you relate to him inside of me. And so walks with me daily. And that's where my spiritual journey came full circle. So.
Well, when did you know that you had spiritual gifts? Was it before the church, a little girl, a teenager? When did you know that you had spiritual gifts?
I don't know. That's a good question. I have to think about that. I think I would probably say, now that I think about it, I would probably say as a little girl, because my first memory of knowing, like, I just thought about it when I was a little girl. I remember seeing at the foot of my bed. I remember because my biological father, passed away when I was almost 5 years old. And I remember seeing him at the foot of my bed in spirit form. And so I went to my mom and I told her that I saw him, and I even described what he was wearing. And I said, "Did Daddy have, you know, blah, 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 like this type of shirt?" And she was like, "Yeah, how do you know?" And so that's when I knew. So just thinking back on it, like I didn't know at that time, but now that I think back on it, that's when, you know, I knew. So yeah, so when I was a kid, yeah. That's crazy when you think back on stuff like that.
I think for me, it was 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
If we going on reflecting all the way back, when I knew I had spiritual gifts, I was 4. And I used to be a sickly baby and toddler. And my mom used to always have to take me to the hospital. I would suffer from fevers. So the last time I suffered from a fever, I was visiting my grandmother at 4 years old. And I would always get in the bed with my grandmother and we would watch Gilligan's Island, Fantasy Island, and I want to say maybe the Bionic Man or Charlie's Angels or something like that. But I know for sure it was Fantasy Island and Gilligan's Island. And my grandmother used to eat tomatoes. That was her favorite food. She would put salt on them and just eat it like an apple.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, "Grandma, do you want it? Can I get a tomato?" And she was like, "Yeah, and bring me one too." So as I'm going out of the hallway, out of her bedroom, and I'm going towards the kitchen, but I have to pass through the dining room. And I get to the kitchen and my body temperature changed and I began to get very extremely hot. Like what I would experience now as a hot flash. But back then I would get extremely hot because I used to suffer from high fevers. So I grabbed the tomato. I'm turning around. I closed the refrigerator door. And then I felt a really, really deep warmness. And then I pass out. But as I'm going down, the tomatoes are rolling underneath the dining room table. So I'm trying to reach for them. But my body now is getting limp. Like my organs like are shutting down at this point. I couldn't move. I'm going to describe it. If anyone ever fell asleep and you're feeling like you're falling and you can't get up and you're trying to reach to get back up, that's what it feels like. So I'm trying to move.
Mm-hmm.
What you say?
Like a paralysis?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm trying to get underneath the dining room table because I'm trying to like wake up. I'm trying to get myself back up. So in my brain, I'm yelling to my grandmother. I'm saying, Grandma. I'm calling her name. I'm like screaming, but no one hears me. Mm-hmm. So my two uncles and one of their friends, I can hear, and I hear everything that's going on. And my two uncles and one of their friends come in the house. And so my grandmother yells to my uncle and said, "Where that baby at?" And then they like, "What baby?" And my grandma was like, "Erica." And then, "Mama, we don't see her." My grandmother's telling them she went in the kitchen to get some tomatoes. What do you mean you don't see her? So they're walking around the house. So when they walk around the dining room table, they trip over my feet because half of my body is under the dining room table. So my uncle reaches down and picked me up. And he said, "Mama, this girl done went to sleep underneath the dining room table." So now I hear my grandmother getting up and coming in there. They turn on the light. And my uncle picked me up and was like, "Mama, she hot. She's burning up." And my body was limp. I'm seeing all of this while I'm unconscious. The whole conversation.
Like an outer, yeah.
I had an out of body experience. Mm-hmm. So they trying to shake me, resuscitate me because they think that I'm asleep. They're trying to wake me up. And so my grandmother was like, "No, we need to take her to the hospital now." So they take me to the hospital. We get in the car, and my uncle's friend had a Pinto. This how long ago it was. He had a Pinto. He had a Pinto. And we get in the, they put me in a car, my grandmother in the front seat, my two uncles in the back. So, back in the day, when cars would release the seat, it would jerk back.
Yeah.
You have that thing and it boom. So my one uncle is holding me in his arms and the seat comes back because they're trying to get me in the car. And my uncle had a cigarette in his mouth. And it burnt my elbow. So I flinched. And that was the only move I made. I flinched because I could feel the heat from the cigarette burn. And he was like, "Oh, you done burned it." They back there hard and "You done burned it, girl." And so by the time we get to the hospital and my grandmother goes in there and she go inside the hospital and my uncle's carrying me. Everybody sweating, everybody hysterical. They talking about you better call her mama. Y'all, anybody call Ronnie. That's my mom's nickname. And so we didn't have cell phones back then. So I guess they somehow called her from the hospital or whatever, told her I was there. And they rushed me to this room and put me in a stainless steel tub full of ice. The fever didn't go down. At this point, they're panicking because they want to know how long was I under, because I can hear them talking and they're saying, "Well, if it's been more than 10 minutes, she may not come back." I'm a little girl, so I'm hearing this And I'm confused at this point. I'm very confused. Because I'm like, I feel like I'm here, but I don't think I'm here. Because I'm seeing everyone in the room and I'm seeing myself also. So they put me in the water. I didn't move. I didn't flinch, anything. So after that, I hear them. Now my mom has arrived at the hospital, and they in there whispering, but I can hear them clearly. And they was like, she may be brain dead. We don't know yet. Technology wasn't all that great back then, because the only thing I can remember them flipping me over, taking a thermometer and sticking it. And they was like, oh, she's at 106. Oh, she's 108 now. Oh, she's 110. We can't break the fever. I remember them giving me Tylenol in a tube, and I was just there in the hospital for 4 months in a coma. And I could see everything. I could feel, I could see everything, but my body was there, but my spirit was somewhere else, floating around. And so when I got to what they would call the other side, it was very warm. It was very welcoming. It was, it felt like a warm hug. It felt familiar. And someone grabbed my hand, and I'm just looking up at them, but I couldn't see their face. And it was a bright light, like a soft, iridescent experience. And that was when they said, oh, it's not your time, you need to go back. And I said, I don't want to go back. And they said, oh, well, you have to go back because you have things that you have to do. And then I was like, no, I don't, I'm a kid. So I really don't, I'm not understanding. I don't know what's going on. And when I came back to, that was a funny story that happened when I came back to. Like I said, I could hear everything that was going on. My mom used to, the next day, I remember my dad coming up to the hospital, because my parents were separated at the time. And I remember my dad coming into the hospital and getting in the bed with me. He had brought all these balloons and stuffed animals. I remember the conversations that my grandmother was having with my aunt, because my aunt, what they were trying to do was schedule. They knew what time my mom was going to be at the hospital to sit with me. And then my mom still had my two other sisters. So they was trying to figure out a schedule when they going to tell my dad to come up here without my mama knowing, so they won't get into an argument, you know. So I heard all of that. So every couple of days, they put me back in the tub of ice. Nothing happens. I'm just there. And then I remember I was in a room by myself, but then another little girl came and they admitted her, and they moved my room and we started sharing a room. I started sharing a room with another little girl. I can't move now, right? But I see the nurse every morning coming in there doing this little girl's hair and digging in my barrettes. You know those blue cans that you get them little Danish butter cookies from?
Yeah.
My mom used to keep all our barrettes in this little container.
Yeah, I remember that.
She had it sitting next to my bed.
My mom used those for sewing, her sewing.
Yeah, you put your sewing stuff in there. My mom used ours for a barrette. Mm-hmm. So we my mom would come up there and do my hair every day and give me my bath and all that kind of stuff. And the other little girl, the nurse was putting my barrettes in this little girl's hair. So,
did you snatch your ball headed when you? Did you snatch your ball headed when you came to?
I'm getting to that. When I came to, back into my body. This is the day that, or the night, or whenever it was, ascension, whatever, when I was told you have to go back. And I was like, no, I don't want to go back. It feels good. I feel loved. I feel warm. I feel like, it was that feeling. I want to say almost like being in your mother's womb. It was warm. It was cozy. It was
developed. Mm-hmm.
So when they said you have to go back, I didn't have a choice, really. I really didn't have a choice. So I'm hearing the commotion that's going on in the room. And the nurse is like, oh, we're going to do your hair. You're going to look so pretty. You better blah, 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 blah. Evelyn, the lady turned. She was already Caucasian, but she turned crystal clear white. I sat up and said, those are my barrettes and my mom is going to get you. That lady dropped that container on the ground. She ran out that room. She went and got all the doctors and nurses, and she was like, she's up, she's woke, she woke, she up. And then I was just like, I want my mama. I want my mama and my daddy.
Mm-mm.
That's all I said.
That's awesome.
So, yes, I identify as a goddess, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And there's been more incidents like that in my life throughout my life's journey that I've never shared with anyone. And I remember telling one of my friends earlier today, and he said, well, why you never told me? And I was like, at 18, 19, I was going to tell you that. When people didn't even believe in that, they didn't believe after death, after life. Matter of fact, have you ever back then known Black people was talking about that at all?
Yeah, so
I know a lot of people that have lived that and have, experienced that, but people don't talk about that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't believe
Not
it.
in our culture, they don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's too taboo. It's not Christian.
Mm-hmm.
But it's real. It's facts. Just like when I went to go get my teeth pulled, my wisdom teeth pulled, the anesthesia didn't work on me. They had to put me down twice. Because I kept telling them I could feel it. I started talking. But then once they put me down that second time, I floated. I heard that whole conversation. When I woke up, I said, y'all had to give me anesthesia twice. She looked at me and was like, how do you know that? I said, I heard y'all whole conversation. Y'all was playing music and you was talking and you told the nurse that I was moving because I was talking while they were in my mouth. And I could see what they were doing. So this is why I feel like all Black people have spiritual gifts. I do. Not just your bishop and your preacher. They're not the only ones gifted. They're not the only ones that can see. I was telling a friend today, every lie that was told to me, I saw it before they told me. I saw it. Here in the dot. We have code in us. We have a certain intuition, especially women. So if a woman knows something, she knows.
Yeah.
She knows. Yeah, she knows before she even asks you.
Yeah, a lot of times we ignore it.
The day before, the night before, the night of. Strange things happen that people overlook.
Yeah.
Because we was conditioned to overlook. We was conditioned. How do you think slaves made it through slavery? They used their intuition. Everybody didn't get caught. How do you think Harriet Tubman, she had to be talking to an angel or God? There's no way that she could have led all 2,000 slaves in that kind of environment.
Yeah.
She had a spiritual guide with her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny to me how people will say, you'll go watch movies like Sinners, you'll go watch all this other stuff that have spirituality traditions in them. You will watch it, but don't believe it. It's real.
It's rooted in it, yeah.
That's where we came
It's
from.
weaved all through that movie. Mm-hmm.
We came from our own spiritual divinity. No one can tell me who I am. Period. I know I overcame to become the woman I am today, the spiritual woman I am today, because we're all spiritual, living in human form. And I've been in a coma. So can't nobody tell me nothing about me. Nothing. I'm not going to even argue with you about that one. I'm going to argue with you. Unless you've been in a coma and came back, well, we can talk about some things.
Yeah.
So I was telling my friend, I said, okay, who was going to listen to me once I became 18? And I blocked it out, and then I started having visions about what happened. And then when I was 8, when my grandmother was dying, just like you said, your father came, my grandmother came to me, sat on my bed, came through the bedroom window. Me and my sister had bunk beds. And for some reason, I didn't want to sleep in my bunk bed at the top. I wanted to sleep on the other bed because my mother had took them apart and made separate beds. So I'm sleeping, but I'm feeling this feeling. And then the window opens. My grandmother was sitting on the edge of my bed like I'm talking to you right now. I could feel the pressure of the bed. She was in the hospital, dying of cancer. And she gave me some words of wisdom. So yes, I have an ancestor altar and will always have one.
Yeah.
And anybody I date, that's what it is. I give honor to my ancestors before me. And the very next day she passed. The very next day she passed. But her body was, her spirit was already gone. Her spirit had already left her body. They just had her on a machine. I remember when my father passed, he came to me and my son, and he told me, I'm tired. I've lived my life. I don't want to do this no more. He didn't want to be in pain no more. So I look at death differently. While everybody is like, oh, my condolences, I pray for you. I don't need you praying for me. I know who I am, baby. Because one day I'm going to be somebody's ancestor. I'm comfortable.
Y'all will. Yeah, we all will.
I don't need the woes. I don't get sad. I get happy because I know my relatives, my family or friends or whoever who's been, they made it to the other side. They don't have to suffer no more. So that's my reflection of my past and where I'm at now and my spiritual journey. I tried not to, I tried really hard not to answer the call of Christian versus spiritual. It was like, but once I left the church, nothing happened to me. I didn't get struck down. I didn't, the bad happened to me. Actually, I was treated worse in church than I was ever in my life. And it's probably some church people that watch my podcast that I went to church with. I was living in hell at church, period, in a dot. And I'm being very transparent. Very. It was like trying to fit a square inside of a circle. I didn't feel comfortable. It just was a lot of things. It was a lot of things I was questioning. It was a lot of things that I saw that didn't make sense to me. And I was like, what is going on? I thought it was supposed to be church. But no, because I know I ain't doing nothing. But, the attacks, the mean looks, just the everything. No. Because I thought that's where I was told, that's where you go see God. But God is in us. God
in us. Yep.
In us. God got us. He in us. If we was created in his image, what? I'm just saying. I've been on the other side. I have. And I have overcome a lot of things in life. So you can't call me any name but the name I tell you to call me. Period. You can't call me the B word. You can't call me your baby. I ain't your baby. You can't call me your auntie. I got nephews. What man want to call me auntie and then try to date me? So if you think I'm your auntie, I'm significantly older than you then, right? Yeah. So that now you're making me feel creepy. It feels uncomfortable. Because you don't call me auntie. So do you think you're attractive to me? So now I'm looking at you like you a little boy. I'm looking at you like you my nephew. You set that tone.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
It's a little weird to me.
Only ones that call me auntie are my nephews, my legit nephews.
Now I am someone's auntie.
Yeah, me too.
But a man that's trying to date a woman shouldn't be calling her auntie. I don't understand that. Just like a man I would never call a man daddy.
Yeah.
Daddy or zaddy, none of that. That's toxic. That's low vibration. My daddy's dead. You are not my daddy. You are not the father. Maury Povich would say, you are not.
You are not the father.
You are not the father. That's very creepy to me. See what I'm saying? How we are comfortable with nicknames like that.
Yeah.
We're comfortable with it. We're comfortable with that form of, what do they call it? Terms of endearment. We're comfortable with that. But we're not comfortable with being elevated. Yeah. You're a goddess. I'm a goddess. And the man that you with should be a god. If you are not with a man that you don't identify as being God essence or God-like, you shouldn't be with him. He ain't your daddy. I have a friend, and it's funny because we went to the same church at different times, but didn't know each other. Ended up working together. Didn't know that we had went to the same church. She had left the church, and then we ended up working together and being in the same office. And so one day we were talking, and because I love a good spiritual conversation. I could stay on spirit all day. But so she said, yeah, she said, when I left church, she said, I told them, they was like, where you going? She said, I'm going home to my God, to my Lord. And they was like, who are you talking about? She was like, my husband. Because he provides for me. She said, I don't know what God y'all serve, but the God I serve provides for me. So it's nothing wrong with that. I just feel like we accept everything else except for who we are. How you know I'm not a goddess? Who told you that I'm not? I sure been called a bitch a couple of times, and I wasn't that. And I was supposed to accept that and feel comfortable with it. Never. Never. Once I woke up, I elevated up myself. It's up to you to elevate yourself to the next level. It's up to you not to accept anything.
Yep.
It's called choices. Well, it's almost 10 o'clock, almost time for us to go. And thank you for everyone who lasted this long, but I do have a shout out. We shout out female-owned businesses on this podcast. And I want to shout out Goddess Amina. She is the owner and the creator of the Blackest Tantra Festival in the world. The Atlanta Tantra Festival, an event produced and organized by Amina Peterson, founder of the Atlanta Institute of Tantra, is back. It's back in Atlanta. After 4 years, the 2025 Atlanta Tantra Festival is returning to Atlanta. This year's 3-day event will be held on Labor Day weekend in West Midtown. Over the years, we witnessed a community come together and grow, express love, and explore, all while holding each other and self in deep reverence. This is how we show up now. The 2025 Tantra Festival will return to its home of origin in Atlanta in its original format. So if you guys are interested in attending the Atlanta Tantra Festival, I will leave a link below. Ain't that what they say? I'll leave a link below. For you to explore the website. And I must say that she's also one of my instructors because I'm getting my certification in somatic tantra healing, along with all my other certifications. So, yeah. I just wanted to give her a shout out. Oh, and Sex Down South will be in Atlanta, I believe, September the 4th through the 6th. And their theme this year is Spiritual Awakening. So, yeah. Thank you all for joining us. Evelyn, do you have any last words tonight?
No, I don't. I just want to thank you guys for...
You want to tell them about Sundays?
Oh, yes. We do have a Sacred Soul Sundays. We started this last Sunday. So join us now every Sunday at 8 o'clock. It's Sacred Soul Sundays. And we'll be live on Facebook and also on YouTube. And like I said, the time is at 8 o'clock. We can't wait to see you guys. Share our page, like and comment, and send us some stars. And we are glad that you guys joined us tonight. We can't wait to see you guys on Sunday.
Like, comment, and subscribe and comments. We cannot see your comments. So if you commented on Facebook, we will answer your comments after we are offline. And also I will be adding the day 4 to the 5-day challenge tonight. In case you guys would like to join the 5-day challenge. We got one more day for this week's 5-day challenge. And next week we might have another 5-day challenge. And this is just so that you can heal. This platform and podcast is about healing, prosperity, overcoming, returning to your divine feminine energy, and being seen, aligning your chakras, not hiding anymore. We're not hiding, but we're coming in a different way. We're not twerking or anything like that. We're it's a sisterhood and a community of people that identify with spirituality and they want to learn more, they want to grow more, they want to be in a sisterhood, they want to be in a goddesshood. That's what Sacred Bloom, Call Her Goddess, is all about. And we'll see you on the next episode, goddesses. Good night.